My mother-in-law keeps overstepping my parenting. I finally stood my ground.
Girl, why don't you take 3 steps back real quick? 3 steps back.
And then what? That's it? Just 3 steps back?
She's overstepping.
This weekend, we, husband, daughter 4 years old, and son 11 months are going camping.
Yay.
We're meeting mother-in-law and father-in-law out there, followed by sister-in-law and her fiance. Possibly some friends as well, but probably not overnight. So mainly I'll be stuck with the in-laws all weekend. Haha. By the way, this comes from Fickle Lionheart, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, the camping spot is literally in the middle of nowhere. You drive through a very tiny, thin path that fits one vehicle at a time very slowly for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Then you suddenly come to a huge opening with a gorgeous beach and a lake. It's our favorite spot, and we go every year, except last year because I was super pregnant with our second baby, which is part of my issue.
What, you keep getting pregnant?
I consider myself to have a fairly shiny spine now, getting shinier with every interaction with mother-in-law. However, I never used to have one. In fact, for the entire time my daughter's been growing up until this year, I had what I referred to as a limp noodle spine when it came to mother-in-law. She has an obnoxiously ginormous and loud presence/personality and is the main character in every room she steps in. Because of this, when my daughter was growing up, my mother-in-law boundary stomped constantly and basically took over as if she were the mom. I honestly feel like she likes to play mommy with my kids. It's gross and weird. She's always posing with them for photos as if she's the mom, saying things like, "Oh, don't worry, Grammy just has to walk away for a second, but I'll be back, don't be sad." Meanwhile, they don't even care or notice she's walking away. She just acts like she's number one in their life. Or, "Tell Grammy. Grammy will help you. What you need, Grammy will get it for you." Which sounds nice and innocent enough, but I swear she does it in a way that pushes me aside and makes it seem like she's drilling into my kid's head to go to Grammy and not mom for things, if that makes sense.
If we get like a big jump in time,
Yeah.
this might be a problem. Because imagine if the kids do.
Go to Grammy.
Grammy, I need to get out of jail.
Grammy. Well, that's actually, kind of sucks for Grammy. She has to always deal with them.
Well, they always go to
Bailing them out of
Grammy, and
jail.
then you don't know that your child
He's in jail.
is in jail.
So when we used to go camping with my firstborn, she ruined so many experiences by just being herself, being her usual overtaking, "it's all about me" self. For example, my daughter has never been cuddly or affectionate, and when she is, it's a rare and cherished moment for me. She would be snuggling me around the campfire before bedtime, and mother-in-law would come marching across the circle to us, literally saying something like, "Oh, she's being so cuddly, I want cuddles," and just take her out of my arms and walk back to her seat, which left me so shocked I couldn't even move or speak because WTF?
It's just a weekend. It's just a weekend. It's just a weekend.
She's constantly going on about how she's the best swimmer ever. And I was trying to show my toddler some tips, like punting your feet and floating, super basic stuff. And she kept trying to take over, making it seem like I know nothing in comparison to her. Dude, I would not want this lady around my children.
Yeah, also, like, get your own kids.
Get your own kids.
You gotta be a grandma. You know what grandmas do?
You already had your kids.
What do grandmas do, Sophia?
They give money or something.
Yeah, candy.
Yeah, and they give candy.
Yeah, they don't mother.
They pinch your cheeks.
And they let you watch TV.
No, it's like soap operas. Like,
Oh, yeah, the Young and Restless.
Young and
Dude, I stayed up to date with all of those.
Yeah, Young and
I
Restless
always
and The Price is Right, bro.
Yes!
I always watch Deal or No Deal, Master Chef, and I Dream of Jeannie.
Wow.
Those were the essentials.
I
at
don't
my
know. It
Nana's
sounds like
house.
Riley and I had the same grandma.
Yeah.
That sounds really.
Did you sometimes get to watch like really old
Yep.
70s
Yep.
sitcoms?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
that's
Love
what I was
Lucy. Even like really old, like I Love Lucy.
Good.
Yeah,
good
I Dream of
times.
Jeannie's a really old one.
Yeah,
You guys
I Dream
never
of
watched
Jeannie's
that?
one, but like yours is oddly specific. Young and the Restless
Yeah, dude.
got me invested as a 8-year-old.
I'm not sure how to explain it, but she makes everything about her and calls all the attention to herself. She will follow my kids around and hover over them and then sit right back beside them, breathing down their necks so she can be all, "Oh, look at me. It's me with the kids. Look at me building sandcastles or blowing bubbles or swimming or whatever I'm doing." No matter what I do, she inserts herself. Even when I try saying something to my kids, she's right there beside me, repeating it but changing it to say, yeah, yelling makes Grammy sad. If I just told them, when you yell, it makes people feel sad, it's like she's grooming / manipulating them to revolve around her, like I feel like she did / does to my husband. I hope that makes sense. She's always lunging at me and others like a maniac for my second baby, constantly leaping at whoever has him with her arms out, frantically saying, I'll take him, which sounds fine, but I also literally will be standing beside her and she deliberately keeps walking away and rolls her eyes when I follow her. Or if she needs to give him to someone else for a moment to do something, she pretends I'm not there with my arms out for him and asks people to take him until someone else takes him. That's his mom.
What?
Give him to his mom.
What?
Or if I grab him from her, she acts annoyed and pissy that I took him and acts like I'm a witch, and then wonders why I never want to give him to her or want her near us, me and my baby, because she acts so friggin' weird. At least I think that's weird behavior. So anyway, I know dang well she's going to do this again with my son, and it's his first time camping and he's my last baby. Like I said, I have more of a spine now, so I'm looking forward to going and getting a redemption first, I guess. But I feel like a new mom now that I'm able to speak up and not feel uncomfortable for saying no. But I'm still worried about her behavior because she is relentless and gives 0 Fs about no's and boundaries.
Have you ever been a part of a family where a certain family member will care about a child whenever they're young, like a baby, up until they're about 4, and then they don't really care about them, and they're very protective of them at that age?
Yeah, they just got like baby fever, but then they're like, okay, this is like a child now. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I would like to know how mother-in-law treated her Opie's husband later in life, and seeing what kind of patterns we got going here, because you can kind of tell what this mother-in-law is gonna do with your kid.
Yeah.
Be like, do I want those effects that my husband went through for my children to go through?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think if she can't listen to the boundaries that you guys are trying to set, then maybe she doesn't get to be around the kids.
Yikes.
Since we are in the middle of nowhere, stuck together, we're not camping in the same thing. We have a pop-up trailer and she has a tent, but we're still camping very close beside each other. I don't want to ruffle too many feathers, so I'm looking for things to do / say to make her back off when she starts interfering with me, making memories with my kids, and undermining my parenting. I don't want it to cause awkwardness or a big fight or anything. I just want to deliver the message that she needs to back off.
Do we let our chronic PP overtake us and we beat around the bush saying it? Or do we just go ahead and say it?
Chronic
I think you just go ahead and say it.
Yeah? How would you say it?
I think you go up
Back
to mother-in-law and you say, hey, it seems like, I've repeatedly talked to you about how you've been sidelining me while I'm trying to parent. And if you continue to do this, I'm not going to allow you to be around my kids.
Right.
And you make sure that your partner's on the same page too.
Also, we're just on this trip for a weekend though, right?
Yeah.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it.
Can we do it? Can we do it?
Is
folks?
this am I
Can we do it,
kind of being
folks?
crazy? Can we get through this? Some
I
people
feel
are
like
unbearable.
I feel like we could get through a weekend.
Yeah.
But how many weekends do you have to get through, Like there's always going to be another mountain. You're always going to want to make
camping trip.
it move.
Dang.
Also, for the record, husband is on my side. It took a long time, but he has my back now. But also note that because of this, she has been relentlessly pushing back at both of us 10 times harder because she knows we are more solid and when we aren't taking crap anymore. And she hates it. So now we have to deal with her being extra wild with kid number 2. I can't just leave and go home on a whim. Once we go out, we are out there for the weekend. And also for the poor mother-in-law people out there, she does get her grandma time and will get plenty of moments with my kids over the weekend. She also lives 10 minutes away and sees them an overwhelming amount every week. I just feel like she doesn't also need to interfere with my time as their mom or take over the whole weekend. And lastly, father-in-law is amazing and respects all the boundaries and rules, even if he doesn't understand or agree. But unfortunately, he's an enabler to mother-in-law. And sister-in-law and fiance are also great. It's literally just mother-in-law who's horrible. And there is an update, but do you have any thoughts?
What do you think, Yon?
Just push her. I mean, like, get her away. Get her away because you don't want to imprint. Just kind of like imprinting herself on the child, where it's like I'm mommy now, in a way where it's like no, like you had your shot, you had your time, you already were a mom. Let me be a mom. Like I don't get me wrong, I love the help that she's trying to do and trying to get, but it's over. Like the title says, overstepping her boundaries.
Yep.
I think that's great because moms deserve help, parents deserve help, and they need help, and that's what the grandparents are there for. But not like this.
Yeah, no. Me growing up, see my grandma take care of me. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. She was just, I don't know, just be a grandma.
Just be grandma.
Yeah, she'll like make you some like food.
Make me some
and, like,
toast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Knit me a sweater.
Yeah. Those are classic grandma
It's
things.
classic grandma things. Why are you trying to overstep your grandma?
I wonder if the new modern grandma things, whenever we're older, is like, Grandpa, just 3D print me something.
Grandma, can you 3D print me something?
I hope not. Or like, if I'm a grandpa.
I mean, are you going to be crocheting your kids something?
I don't know how to. I mean, I actually technically have. I did know at one point how to crochet and knit.
Mm.
I'm going to make my mom do it all.
I probably will whittle a stick for a kid at some
I'll
point.
whittle a stick.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm going to like play dolls or something with my kids, my grandkids.
I'll build a Lego set with my grandkids.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a movie production with my kids.
Like, Grandma, come make a TikTok with us, Grandma.
Yep.
They're like, oh, this old thing called TikTok. Because they'll
Have
probably
you heard of Vine?
And we're like,
Back in my day, we only had 6 seconds.
That's all I needed.
all we needed.
to make you guys. Just joking. Jokes.
Man.
Come on, lighten the mood.
Man.
Where you at? It's like
I'm gone, man.
it's just like
Update.
I'm gonna get her back. Okay, my mission, this story, she's gonna laugh. She's gonna come back to life. I got it, guys.
Update. For a summary, my mother-in-law needs to be the center of attention at all times, makes everything about her, bulldozes over everyone's boundaries, and gaslights/manipulates to get her way,
Ew.
including pretending she's so embarrassing or so hurt or heartbroken over ridiculous things to make you feel bad and give in to her. She also plays mommy with my kids to the point she's completely taking over whenever she's around, and has even created a barricade with multiple chairs between me and my second baby that she snatched out of my arms so I couldn't get to her quickly.
What?
Is this
What?
woman playing freaking Squid Games?
Yeah. Go on.
You know, when they make a barricade at night so that you can't get attacked by the other players?
Yeah, we're playing Fortnite.
Oh, yeah. Fortnite. Is this woman in the French Revolution?
Capture the flag. Capture the baby.
Oh, I want to play Capture the Flag. She makes my life miserable, and she is exhausting to even think about. Anyway, here is how my weekend went since so many people asked for an update.
Oh boy.
I'm extremely irritated and exhausted, which from my original post, I already said I knew I would be. So I don't need any I told you so people, lol. I mainly went for my kids, and I did have a good time with them, and also honestly with everyone else except mother-in-law. So other than her, I guess it was a decent weekend, but here are some highlights. I guess so. Bullet points. Got to the campsite where mother-in-law and father-in-law had already set up their camping gear. And of course, mother-in-law charged me and the kids, or female in 11 months, immediately buzzing in their ears and hovering around them. Literally every time I tried to say anything to my 4-year-old daughter, mother-in-law was right there repeating what I said and adding her own 2 cents in, or just straight up going against what I was saying and saying something else. I had to constantly tell her to let me parent my daughter and to back off, to which she acted annoyed and walked away, or sometimes she literally just laughed. Ha! Like a crazy person.
Dude, what planet is this woman on?
The crazy person planet. My daughter took sister-in-law's beach towel and ran away with it, then got distracted by something else and threw it on the ground. We camped on a sandy beach. Her fresh towel got full of sand, and I told my daughter to pick up Auntie's towel, give it back, and say sorry. My daughter was cranky as it was the last day. We were mid-packing up, and it was coming up on her nap time, so she was whining and saying no. She also gets embarrassed when she needs to say sorry, so she says no because she's embarrassed to do it. So I'm standing there trying to tell my daughter that it's okay and she isn't in trouble, but she does need to give it back and say sorry for throwing it in the sand. Here comes mother-in-law over and picks up the towel and says, "Here, I'll do it. Do you want me to do it?" To which I say, "No, mother-in-law. She needs to do it. And mother-in-law ignored me and kept telling my daughter, it's okay. It's okay. I just said, no, daughter, you need to say sorry. And eventually just straight up told mother-in-law again to back off and stop interfering and going against me.
Nice.
All right.
Then I told my daughter in front of mother-in-law that she needs to listen to mommy, and if someone else tells her something after mom says something, then what they say doesn't matter because she should listen to mom. Mother-in-law again acted like I was just a witch or something. My daughter fell and started crying. Super simple. She was fine. This is another event that happened. She was in mother-in-law's tent with mother-in-law hanging out and tripped on the opening while walking out of the tent. I heard her cry and yell to her from some steps away, daughter, are you all right? To which mother-in-law answered for her, yeah, she's fine. Are you daughter? Is your name daughter?
Wow. I didn't know you could understand my daughter's emotions.
I didn't know you were a mind reader. So I shouted back, well, I want to hear my daughter tell me she's all right. That's why I asked her. Not a peep from mother-in-law. By the way, if it isn't obvious by now, mother-in-law loves to intimidate people and force them to do what she wants. But as soon as you call her out or fight back, she starts stumbling over her words, grasping at straws, trying to gaslight or manipulate you for her power back, and usually ends up making some snarky comment about how she doesn't even care and walking away. Every time my daughter wants to do something with me, it's like my mother-in-law was jealous or something. Mother-in-law just kept hovering around and trying to lure my daughter and son into doing it with her instead. Like they were swimming with me in the lake, and mother-in-law kept buzzing around my daughter saying, come swim with Nana, come swim with Nana. And my daughter was very clearly getting annoyed and kept saying, no, I'm swimming with my mommy. And mother-in-law just would not accept it until father-in-law overheard and said, stop bullying them.
Nice.
In a half-joking way, but it definitely called her attention to her and made her go swim away by herself. Then she called attention to herself by telling everyone to look at how far out she swam.
Dude, okay.
Is she a child? She's
That's-
like, look how far out I swam.
I was about to say that.
Look, I can do a handstand.
If I was this person's partner, I would get the ick so quick. Like, what
I
are we
know.
doing?
Come on.
What?
How could you be with someone like this? What? How does this happen?
I have no idea.
I'm so confused right now. What in her mind from her past is making her act like this? That's what I want to know. I want to dive deep into
I think
her.
she's just a very jealous person who like needs attention on her at all times.
I want to dive deep into her brain cells and understand the mapping of her behavior.
Yeah.
Like, how does someone get this way? Jealousy?
I think so.
She an only child?
I need answers.
Everyone I tried talking to and asking questions, mother-in-law would answer for them. No one bats an eye. They're so used to it. It's ridiculous. I wasn't having any of her crap this weekend, so right off the bat, every time she did it, I either repeated my question to the person, told her I wasn't asking her, or said something in a lighthearted way like, oh, I didn't realize your name was X, which made people giggle but got the point across. Except mother-in-law is such an intention hogger, she wouldn't back down. She would answer question after question. Husband was telling a story from his past, and I asked 3 questions in a row to get a better picture. And mother-in-law kept answering as if it was her story. She wasn't even there. She tells everyone's stories as if it's her own, as if she was there, and tries to find ways to insert herself into everyone's stories. It was daughter's bedtime, and I brought 2 books to the campfire. One for me, one for her dad to read to her, as we had done every single night since she was a few weeks old. Mother-in-law literally had her on her lap and would not let her go. I kept saying, come here, this is OP. Come here, daughter. Come read a story. And mother-in-law kept holding her on her lap and saying, oh, Nana can read it. Want Nana to read it instead? And I kept saying, no. Mom and Dad have read her stories since she was a baby. This is what she's used to. We can read the stories. At one point, she even slid daughter off her lap because she accidentally punted over her adult soda on the ground and held her with one arm and frantically said, don't go anywhere. To which I called her out and said, well, you don't have to hold my daughter hostage. She can go if she wants to. And mother-in-law acted all sheepish and said, still holding her, well, yeah, she can, but she said she wants to sit on my lap. Meanwhile, my daughter was clearly trying to subtly wander away when she thought she had a chance to finally. This poor 4-year-old's like, please, she's holding me hostage.
I can't go anywhere. Oh, dude. Can't we do anything here?
Well, it seems like your husband needs to do more. Because you said that he's on your side,
Seems
but
like
like,
father-in-law
why are
gets
you the
more of
only
it,
one?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
father-in-law definitely.
I would have a-
Husband does that functions.
I would have a conversation with the father-in-law, like,
Yeah.
could you tell her to stop? And you know, like, you see what she's doing.
Yeah. Ease up, man.
I have seen family members where their wife just acts super crazy, and the husband gives up. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
can't
She's
do
like,
anything.
she's
You know
just
why?
so crazy.
It's because usually the husband does not want to deal with it because they're like, oh, I'm gonna get the now it's gonna be the focus is gonna be towards me, like the anger is gonna be just straight towards me, and you're like, I'd rather not.
Yeah,
Yup.
dude, it's so sad to watch.
Miss Jaybird says OP does need to relax a bit too. Use her so you can get a break. Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is just constant though. Like even when OP wants to hang out with her kids.
Whenever the reading the story thing, maybe let the mother-in-law do it.
Yeah, I feel
Doesn't
like
seem
that
like
would be a
too
moment where
big.
that would be fine.
If it was like, once every, in a blue moon or like a couple times a month, that's fine. But it's
Yeah.
like it's literally every time you see the baby, it's like, no, stop.
Yeah, I feel like in normal circumstances, if this were like a normal mother-in-law, you'd be like, okay, well, you could let her read the stories. That's, let her be involved
Yeah.
a little bit. But because it's so, so constant, I got up when I noticed that and just picked her up and took her over to me and continued our bedtime routine, ignoring mother-in-law the entire time after that, which she hated. Sister-in-law was saying how husband and I make such cute babies and then teasing her brother, saying, which obviously they got all of that from OP, not you. To which mother-in-law piped up and said, thanks a lot. And we all looked at her, confused. Which then she went on and on about how my kids somehow come from all of her personal genes. And I was saying they don't get their cuteness from husband. Her son was a personal attack just to her. So I at first said, no, they get all their genes from me because, I'm the mother. And husband, too, threw him in his case. Wait, what? No, they get all their genes from me because, I'm the mother. And husband, too, threw him in case she took the angle. It's not just me, lol. She kept going on, though. So finally I said louder than before, mother-in-law, you can take credit for your own kids, which are right there. I pointed to sister-in-law and husband. They are your kids. These are mine. And I just simply walked away. Sister-in-law thought it was very amusing and backed me up, saying, yeah, Mom, we're your kids, not Opie's kids, in a you're a silly goose type of tone. Basically, a bunch of little things happened, but my relationship with my mother-in-law is very much passing away by 1,000 paper cuts. These little things may sound silly, but altogether, they're so freaking irritating.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, yeah, she just keeps doing it. Everything is a battle with this woman.
I can only imagine how irritated Sophia is with me day to day because I know I work with her and I'm also not the best roommate ever.
No, you are.
Okay, good. So, like, I'm not a death by 1,000 cuts?
No.
I think I am. Okay, hear me out. I am, but if it wasn't for my awesome personality, you'd probably be like, he's dead to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you sucked as a person.
Yeah.
You don't suck as a person.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying, I can understand how all these little things stacking up upon another.
It's frustrating. Katie Paladin says more people need to start calling mother-in-law out on this behavior and not just OP. I know.
Reverse psychology or no, okay, take it back. What you need to do is whenever mother-in-law does something you like, oh my gosh, thank you, I love that. That is so kind of you.
Positive reinforcement.
Anything else?
Yeah, nothing. You ignore her. I just find her entire existence unnecessary. She truly is unbearable. My kids love her, especially my daughter, so I endure her presence for their sake. But I've set ground rules like my husband has to be there at all times because I refuse to be alone with her. That's when she's at her most FU, when she knows husband isn't around to witness it or tell her to knock it off. For those who didn't see my previous post, I said husband had recently gone up to her home, which is 15 minutes away, and told her that he had been a crappy husband and father due to always putting her and her wants/feelings above everyone else's. And that stops now, finally. So far, things have been better. This weekend, he didn't really notice much. In his defense, he was cooking food and taking care of the fire, while I basically just got to hang out with the kids or go off and take some quiet me time when I got overwhelmed by mother-in-law. He immediately stepped in and took the kids so I could do that. It was great. He didn't do much, but when he did hear me telling mother-in-law to back down, he did tell her to be quiet and back off too. He'd say little comments like, OP is their mom, she's got this handled. and got his mom to go back off. He doesn't know about all the tiny things she did that annoyed me that I've listed, and I'm not sure if I'll tell him if it's even worth it or not. But anyway, that was my weekend. Oh, and as an added bonus, our used, very old pop-up trailer we bought off someone local broke all to heck from the super rough trail you take to get to the camping beach. So we can't go camping anymore this year. Woohoo! Ha! Is that like a thank God we don't have to go camping with the family anymore?
Wait, read that next sentence.
It's okay. We got a cheap used one
Oh.
just to see how camping would be with our family of 4. And we knew it would probably not last more than a year or so.
Got it. I thought she was going to be like, glad I can't see mother-in-law
Yeah,
anymore.
it's okay. I didn't want to go camping again anyway.
I know some people that are really into like trailer camping.
Mm-hmm.
They spend 2 months every weekend going.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is. Yeah,
I mean, I like outdoors.
I want to go cabin glamping. I want to go stay in a cabin.
We
And
got to
do
go to
what?
we got to go to Gatlinburg,
Where's that?
Tennessee.
Let's do it. If we
What's-
get a cabin, I'm so down to do like hiking every day and go like.
Why not in the woods?
Let's get a cabin by a lake.
You want to go to Tahoe or Big Bear?
Well, we could also go to Vermont. So overall, my weekend was spent making memories with the kids while simultaneously continuously telling mother-in-law to F off. I am beyond drained and so glad it's over. Sorry for such a long post. If you read through it, you can give me some tips on how to better handle things. Going no contact is not an option, and I'm very, very low contact anyway. Or just offer solidarity by telling me I'm not alone and you have mother-in-laws who act in similar ways. I am just blown away by her behavior every time I see her. And the worst part, I think, is that everyone else seems oblivious to it and treats me like I'm the crazy one if I say something. She is treated like some amazing angel or queen. Meanwhile, I'm just seen as her attention-seeking, snarling, baby rabies witch. Sometimes I wonder, though, why I think she's so exhausting and horrid when no one else seems to, and everyone else thinks she's wonderful. And there are some comments.
I got to go camping soon.
That's your comment.
Yep.
She sounds really troublesome. Have you asked your significant other to talk to his mother and set some boundaries? Mother-in-law tends to listen to their kids. OP says she really is. I have before, and in the past, he would dodge it or make excuses, which is a problem. She's really good at doing her effery when he's not around. He's a smoker and goes outside for a smoke. Or when we would go to her place, usually other people are up there hanging out. Her home is the main place in our small town people gather at. So a lot of times he's outside socializing with the guys while I hang out with the kids, which I'm fine with. I tell him to do this for a break. But that's when mother-in-law acts up with her nonsense to me and the kids. A lot of times in the past, I think this was more disbelief than being a bad husband or whatever. But I would tell him what she did or said, and he would try to say, no, she didn't, or make excuses like she's just an excited grandma, or she's just trying to be helpful, or something dumb. And of course, I sounded crazy when I said it, but she isn't. She's doing it on purpose for whatever reason. Anyway, so his excuse would be that since he wasn't actually present for the effery, then it would be awkward and not make sense for him to randomly call her hours after we left or days later. Because honestly, it takes me days to weeks to tell him what his mother did because I'm so tired of telling him and having him make excuses for her or shrug it off like nothing. And in the meantime, I'm cranky and stressed because I have no one to talk about it. And then nothing ends up happening.
I will say, Opie sounds like she needs a group of girls.
Group girls.
Even
to
mother-in-law.
Complain about the mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law needs a group of girls. Opie needs a group of girls.
Everyone needs a group of girls.
Yep.
Get this girl a group.
You got a bridge night, something.
I think
don't care.
you just need, you and your husband need to get on the same page about like how you're parenting your children.
Yeah.
And you need to just say like, hey, she's kind of, overstepping whenever I'm trying to parent the kids, and then she says something else.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Recently, like a few months ago now, I lost it and told him everything and told him he needs to step up and stop being a pansy about his mother. Otherwise, he's going to lose his wife and kids. Dang.
For a pansy, bro.
And I told him to pick which one he wants more. He drove up to his mother's house and told her he's been a terrible husband and father by protecting his mother's feelings and wants over mine, and told her he'd be calling her out on her BS from now on, and that I will be telling him what she says and does when he isn't around because he knows she does it when he leaves the room, and that when I tell him, he will be contacting her to tell her to knock it off. Apparently she was good about it, But ever since then, she's been 10 million times worse with me and does it in front of everyone now, even my husband. Like she's challenging us.
What do you want? Huh? What do you want?
Being awful.
Get away.
He just wants baby.
Stop.
Dude, come on.
I mean, at least the husband's, doing something now.
Finally, dude. Gosh.
Anyway, he has stepped up more, not anything crazy, but he has started to tell her to knock it off. Tell her I'm the kid's mother, not her, and that I have things handled. He also stopped saying that I'm the one who doesn't want to go to something or blaming things on me, so he still looks good, and started saying, sorry, we have plans, and just using we like a team. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, he wasn't doing that before? He was like,
That's-
oh,
ugh.
sorry, OP doesn't want to do that.
Ugh.
Why are you? Wait,
Come
yeah,
on,
your husband
come
was
on.
really not doing a great job before. She did listen to him in the past, but now she just seems completely unhinged after he called her completely out about everything. It's exhausting. And comment 2, mostly it sounds like you did great. I would have liked to read more involvement from husband, but as you said, he has the excuse of being occupied. Where was he for the story time debate when she had a hold of your daughter? That one bothers me most. You also need to start teaching your daughter that it's okay to say no or let me go, even to grandma or any adult when they're doing something that makes them uncomfortable / they don't like. Consider a code word for you and your hubby. Like every time you're about to be near her, set up a phrase or word to indicate step up. Like mother-in-law has a death grip on a child trying to escape. Husband, did we bring bananas? Or whatever, and he knows that something is amiss and he needs to step up. Number 1, he may realize more and then catch on more without needing the codes. And 2, shutting down will mean more from him.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Makes him more aware.
Makes them more aware, seeing something. You're not blatantly like, hey, your mom's
Yeah,
misusing
your mom's
you.
freaking-
She's being weird.
Yeah, you're just like, bananas.
You're like, hey, husband, can you
Bananas.
pass me the green apples? Hey, husband, I need a pineapple. Can you go to the store and get some
Grapes.
And then you hit him with like a,
Yup, just like that.
yeah.
Just like that.
Opie, he really struggled with that one, I think, because his mother was so dang persistent and would not let up. She was just buzzing in everyone's ears, saying, Nana will read it. Nana will read it. So he told her to stop holding our daughter captive after I did. Like, he backed me up. But then he caved and offered her to read his story after I read mine. But I piped up loudly, said, no, honey, she loves when you read her a story every night. And he said, you're right, and started reading. He sounds like a robot. He's like, you are right. I will read now.
You are correct.
We do teach her that, and she's extremely good at enforcing her boundaries and telling people no, stop, that's not nice, and telling people to say sorry. Even telling people she's speaking and they need to be quiet. I think in that moment, the way mother-in-law abruptly and a bit aggressively said, don't go anywhere, kind of stunned my daughter. In a way I've honestly never really seen her stunned, and she just stayed put. I think she thought she was or would be in trouble. Any other time she would have loudly told her to let her go and spoken up for herself. But for some reason, this one time, she didn't. It concerns me because I've never seen her get so quiet and just stay put. The code word is a really good idea. Husband can tell, usually when I'm fighting his mother off, and he jumps in, but sometimes he's honestly just oblivious, so a code word would be helpful and simple enough. And there is a second update. Do you have any thoughts, Riley?
I'm going to go camping soon. But your
Any
husband
thoughts about the
does need
story?
to stand up.
Yeah, well, it seems like he is. You just don't think enough.
There was. Okay, I understand that sometimes when people don't see a wound, they need to prep it and then it will heal over time. I feel like it's going from the prep part of where is this wound? What do I need to do to fix it? And it is slowly getting to the healing part.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he needs to put more focus on what we need in order to heal this.
Yeah, we need a little bit more Neosporin.
Yes, we need more bandages. We need more, maybe even like a stent.
Maybe
something.
a stitch.
Exactly. I just
Mhm.
don't think he's
I think he's on the right track.
on the right track. But I'm gonna
I think
need
he
you
just
to
has to behave consistently, but I think he's on the right track.
yeah, just be more on the lookout. I think is what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Update 2.
Oh, there's more.
I ended up telling my husband about the things his mother did. At first, I was really reluctant, but he said I'd been acting differently since we got back from our camping trip last weekend. Although I've been normal, I've barely spoken and have been closed off, and he thought something really terrible happened. So first, I told him that I'm hesitant to tell him things about his mother. He said, this is about mom, right? because a lot of times I've shrugged it off, or he made excuses for her and such. He told me he really wants our relationship to work. You can read my previous posts. But basically about 2 months ago, I told him I was very close to walking out. And he drove to his parents' house and told them he's been a crappy husband, yada, yada, yada. I decided to open up, and I told them about the constant interfering with my parenting and overstepping. I told them about her answering for me when I asked her a question and telling her it's okay, don't worry about it, when I just told her to say sorry to someone. I also told him that I did stand up for myself and tell his mother to back off, and I wasn't rude about it, yet she scoffed and dramatically walked away or ignored me and then repeatedly did what I asked her to stop doing all weekend long. I said that I discussed this with his mother 2 months ago after he told his parents he was done with their crap, and his mother told me, "Oh, just tell me when I do something you don't like and I won't do it."
I think we already have.
I think that's been said like 50 times, man.
Yeah.
So I said, what is the point in that when she acts worse after I tell her? She's like, let me know what I'm doing wrong so I can do it
Even worse.
so I can do it the most wrong.
Yeah, hey, you did something wrong there. That was bad. Take that out, editor.
So my options are to suck it up and resent her or tell her to stop. And she still does it, which just makes me resent her even more for her blatant disrespect. Husband listened to my entire rant like he said he would. Then he apologized to me multiple times, telling me he thought I'd handled it when I told her to back off. He heard me a few times. He was off doing things like cooking dinner or trying to fix our trailer that broke, things he couldn't walk away from. But he said he knows I was very respectful and she had no reason to react the way she did. He had no idea it was eating me up so much, and if he had known, he would have had my back. He acknowledged that his mom definitely does her BS when he's away or unable to step in. He said he will make more of an effort to stay nearby, and if he isn't, and I tell him about something upsetting, he will contact her immediately and tell her what she did was unacceptable. I told him I didn't tell him while out camping because I didn't want to ruin his time out there, and also didn't want to argue while camping. He said he appreciated that. However, next time he wants me to tell him immediately if I'm upset so he can support me and stand up for me. Overall, he was extremely genuine and caring. Hopefully, moving forward, he does have my back. He said he completely understands why I wouldn't really want to be around someone who acts that way, and that he will be speaking to her about her role as a grandmother and my role as the kid's mother. She needs to stop playing mom to our kids, especially stop undermining and disrespecting me as their mother. I also brought up how he uses the excuse that she's just an excited grandmother, which he said, yes, he did think that sometimes. I asked him, fair enough, but is that more important than my role as a mother? Good on you, OP. Are her memories and moments as a grandmother more important? He said, absolutely not. You're right. And also, this is going back to we had mentioned earlier, like people were saying like, oh, sometimes you could just let the grandmother, help out or whatever.
Yeah.
The title was that OP felt like she was missing out on being a mother. So I feel like at the root of this is OP's like, I'm missing out on these moments because she keeps trying to step in and like take them all from me.
Yeah.
Dang.
Or all of these moments are also coupled with OP trying to fend off her grandmother or fend off her mother-in-law, which is also frustrating.
She did say, I'm trying to read I don't know. It would be cool to read to your kid at a campfire a story and then being barraged. No, let me read. And it's like you can't be with your
have
kids.
that moment. Yeah.
You have to protect that, and you're having to fight for that. No mother should have to fight for that.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? You also don't have to fight for
What?
full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I
Not one?
have none.
No, I was they have one, Riley.
Yeah, I have one thought.
One thought.
I'm gonna bring sister-in-law into this.
Get her involved.
1, does sister-in-law have kids? 2,
You know.
is she also getting the same treatment, or will she get the same treatment?
I don't think so.
Probably no, 100%. You know why? Because a mother-in-law is gonna focus all of her attention to sister-in-law.
Well, I think right now I'm saying she doesn't get.
Yeah, because she doesn't have any kids or anything
No.
like
But
that.
when that does happen,
When she does have kids, yeah.
but like,
I
we
have
don't know
seen.
when that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I have seen family dynamics where whenever it's like grandparents and they have like 4 kids, and whenever one of the kids have a youngin, they are now like the best kid, like best family because they have the
Yeah.
youngest child.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like another young child's around, they kind of like forget that, and then they're like, the new child, and it's
the new
like,
child's the best one.
what are you doing here?
Can't just replace these kids.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, Duchess Cassandra says, I hate that the husband is like, I thought you got this, so I didn't step in. Like, freaking support your wife. Yeah, he's like,
Right?
I thought you had it handled, so I thought I didn't need help.
Like I said earlier, the husband was like, don't want to deal with that.
What the frick? Riley just punted me in the face with this. I also told him that she had her time to be a mom, and now it is my time. It is a new age of mothers. She needs to respect that, or she will lose her grandmother privileges because I am done. He agreed that was fair. He agreed to keep his mother in her lane and finally acknowledged it's not my job to do so. He also acknowledged that he witnessed me attempting to and saw or heard her blatantly ignore me. So now he knows 100% that she acts that way.
I just hope the husband can walk away knowing how to support his wife, because it feels like the
You would
wife
hope so.
has like a shield. This is what the wife's doing.
Yeah.
Shield, sword, baby. She's
Yeah.
having to carry
She's got
all three.
everything, man.
And another baby. She has like 2 babies and doing this, and the husband's like,
It's exhausting. He's like, you got this. You're good. You're doing great. From the sidelines. He's like behind a door. He's like, you got this.
yeah.
But that is the end of that story.
My boyfriend's family condones his cheating, so I pulled back my support for his daughter.
Yeah, if they're going to support him cheating, then you got to support leaving.
That's right. I, female 29, usually stay with my boyfriend, Carl, 38
Ew.
male, on weekends. He lives with his daughter, 16 female, when he is in due to joint custody. He works a job that he hates because he has no opportunities for growing his career. So 7 months ago, he started a company with an associate, Gabby, 35 female. By the way, this comes from Small Ruin 23, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to OK Storytime subreddit. So, she's definitely successful and knowledgeable. So my concern was what would happen if she ever decided to cut him off. I'm mentioning this because his contribution to their association was to bring clients, but not technical or anything. But not technical or
Like,
anything.
he has no technical, like, he's not helping the company in any technical or, like, business way or something. He just knows people.
Okay, this is a tricky line because I know a guy that runs a virtual, like, animations. He's the guy. He's pretty technical too, but he knows everyone and basically can produce a movie with just his team, but he doesn't release their names. So he's like the middleman.
Yeah, see, the problem is once you introduce all the clients, it's like you kind of made yourself obsolete a little bit.
Yeah. For the past 5 months, he stayed out late while working on their plans. I never had any reason for doubt or suspicion until he went to meet her on a Sunday afternoon. I didn't say anything because I know starting a business requires a lot of effort, but it's odd to allow an associate to interfere with family life. 2 weekends ago, she showed up and berated him for cheating on her. We were hanging out at his place with his 2 brothers, mother-in-law, and his daughter and sister-in-law. Gabby showed up knocking at the door while Carl was in the shower. I started getting weirded out when his family seemed hesitant to answer the door. His brother finally went to talk to her, but she walked past him and confronted me. She asked about our relationship. I'll admit, I was a bit rude because I got defensive.
Yeah, because someone just came in and said, "What? How do you know Carl?" And you're like, "He's my freaking boyfriend."
His older brother went to Carl, and it all turned into a crap show.
Uh-oh.
At this point, I'm disgusted. I don't know who was the real girlfriend and who was the side chick. Also, it's worth noting that she accused his family of betraying her.
Did they even work together?
Gabby and Carl?
Yeah.
They did.
For sure, or was it always a lie?
I see now. Carl remained vague when I demanded some answers, and I felt like slapping him. But I controlled myself. She stormed out after an ugly exchange. I broke up with him that same day
Good.
and haven't been able to find my way back into a good mental state. I can't believe anything he says, so whatever he explains will be a lie.
There is no explanation. He was seeing 2 people at the same time.
Yeah. Ugh. This is where I might be the a-hole. I made the decision to pull my support for his daughter. I had been paying for a makeup subscription box, but canceled it. Okay. She was getting her prom dress as a loan from a friend of mine who has 4 girls. I told my friend what happened, and we agreed that it's his daughter,
Oh.
and we agreed that his daughter doesn't deserve any of my help.
Okay. See, okay, I understood the makeup subscription, but like telling your friend not to give her a discount seems a little harsh. Like the daughter didn't do anything wrong.
Daughter didn't do anything. I say whatever commitments you have to the daughter, ruffle them out. Like,
I think the makeup subscription one makes sense because
Yeah.
that's like ongoing paying money.
yeah.
But like the other one is just a discount.
Yeah, just a discount. Maybe after prom, ruffle it
Yeah,
out.
I
You aren't
don't-
going to get it anymore.
Yeah. Katura insists that's not her responsibility, not the ale. I agree it's not her responsibility, but I think it's, for me, it's like, it's not her responsibility to keep something going, but I feel like taking something away that actually doesn't have any,
Okay.
monetary,
So she also punted them both off of my streaming services and will not help with the history school project, nor will I keep her in my magazine subscription plan. So things like that.
that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Of like things where, I just think the
The dress.
prom dress thing feels like a little bit of a, unnecessary one.
Okay, noted. Carl reached out trying to discuss what I'm doing about his daughter. He just said she's just a teenager and she shouldn't pay for his mistakes. I agree that she has no power to keep him from doing bad things, nor to keep him from being a liar. And I know that she wouldn't be in a position to tell/warn me about her dad was cheating. But she's almost 17 next month, and she's very mature, and she's definitely capable of telling right from wrong. She had zero problems getting stuff and receiving help and favors from me and was comfortable asking for things. She's not a brat or the demanding type. She's low-key asked for stuff, and I was happy to help. I'm sure she also benefited from Gabby, the other girl, because it makes sense since I'm under the impression that Gabby was no stranger to her either. I told him, let Gabby do it, and he tried to complain about how Gabby vandalized their website.
Oh, man.
She took their page down, and it shows, and all it shows is a black
Yeah,
screen.
because he has no technical, he can't help but he doesn't know how it works.
He says she locked him out of all logins and supposedly had all her contacts block him. The only thing giving a little joy right now is imagining him unclothed and holding his balls out in the cold. Oh, like he's like,
It's just like metaphorically.
Yeah. Am I the a-hole? My friends are divided over this, not because of him, but because they say she's just a teenager. Comments.
I was wondering if she even knew, but I guess the whole family kind of knew what the situation was. I honestly, I probably would have done the, stop continuing to pay for stuff, but I wouldn't have done the dress thing.
The
probably.
dress thing's too far. That's
Yeah.
Sophia's line.
I think it's just like you don't need to, don't. I think my line is just don't do anything. Like no further things.
Got it. Ruffle it out.
Yeah.
Update. Thanks to everyone who took time to reply. I think the consensus was about his daughter. I will not be contacting her at all. I reached out to Gabby via social media and she replied. I explained my position and that I didn't know about her, hence why I was very rude and reacted with hostility. We exchanged messages. She said that initially he told her we were in an open relationship, but that was about to end. They were talking for months before they began their relationship. She said he first introduced his kid, then his younger brother, and that she met his mom when Paul invited her for lunch and had his mom show up without telling her. Also, she said that his mom was less than friendly and made a small scene because she decided to pick a fight with her boyfriend. He and mother-in-law are currently broken up. There's no way she's making this up. Mother-in-law treated that guy like crap. About his daughter. Paul used to visit Gabby on some weekends and would leave his kid at Gabby's place because they bonded over do-it-yourself projects.
DIY.
Now, I know where his daughter got her fairy witchy fantasy elf polymer clay jewelry and hair accessories from. So I guess his working weekend gigs was a lie.
Oh, so saying like, yeah, Gabby got all that. His daughter got it all from Gabby.
She said they became a couple about a month or two after starting their company because she wouldn't accept an open relationship. He told her we were done when, in fact, we had never broken up, had a crisis. Nothing. Gabby mentioning that her dad effing hates him and that things began to get rough because of things he did. And her dad noticed. She said her dad, and other family members always meet for Saturday dinner or Sunday brunch at a particular restaurant, and her dad noticed how she always paid for Paul and his kid. If Paul ever paid for his own food, he never paid for hers. She said her dad called her out because he usually paid for everyone, his treat, his family, and he was getting very uncomfortable about Paul. He even paid for Paul to avoid making a scene, but he was fed up. Her dad told Paul he expected to be treated for a change as a hostility joke when they arrived at the restaurant, and Paul was very offended. Later, Paul told her that her dad's remark was a put down. She also said her best friend raised concerns about him and that everything started to crumble because he didn't attend her family's Christmas lunch as he had planned. He remained low-key during the holidays and claimed to have influenza. He used both of us, but he took far more advantage of her because she made material things available. While I don't know her except for this situation, her messages show that she's very affected, but mostly angry. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up destroying him. She repeatedly mentioned that he deserved to have his life ruined. And guys, your life will not be ruined if you go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and boom, we will give you the guideline on how to not ruin your lives. That's all you got to do. 3 simple steps.
All you gotta do. 1, 2, 3.
And Sophia, would you ever juggle if you're in a relationship?
No.
2 people at once?
Why would I do that?
While one of them's holding down the company and the other one is, taking care of your kid.
No.
Okay. You got it there, guys.
You shouldn't either. Unless everyone's informed. This is crazy. Who's Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul.
The guy,
What guy?
OP's ex.
That's Paul? Then who are they talking to? I was so confused in that last part.
I really was too.
I was like, who's Paul and who's the guy he's talking to?
I didn't know that Paul didn't get an MBA like he told me. He never worked 2 jobs despite what he told me and put on his resume. She found out because she paid for background checks and other tools when things started not adding up. Supposedly, this was part of why she started testing his abilities and had been thinking about pulling the plug business-wise.
Okay, so Paul is the OP's ex.
Yep.
Got it.
She said it's all BS and that he's very insecure about his social standing. She told me a lot of stuff. But in a nutshell, I'm going to get tested for STDs and have already told my family what happened.
Smart.
I'm leaving it at that because writing about it makes it really irritating for me being stupid enough to believe him. Thanks again.
And that is the end of that story,
That is
man.
the end. We got one comment. How do you get background checks done? Did she say what services she used? Like, that seems like it should be done right at meeting someone nowadays. She didn't say, but I'm assuming it may be a service used by HR companies. Also, she said that she corroborated his said graduation year to the public PDF document from that graduation in that university, and his name was never there, nor on PDFs 5 years back or 5 years forward.
And there we have it, man.
Dang, she's smart.
Paul, your ex sucks.
Your ex sucks.
But that's the end of that story.
That's the end of that story. We're going to do a little call-in real quick.
All
though.
right.
Yeah.
So context, everyone. This is
Celise.
Celise. This is Celise. Her and her boyfriend broke up 3 months ago because of their uncertainty about having kids. Celise, hello.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
How are you doing?
I am alive. How about you guys?
We're
We are
doing.
also alive.
We are also alive and
That's
doing great. I have a
That's
question. One,
Yes.
how long have you and your boyfriend been together before you guys broke up?
Not long enough to be breaking up over kids.
Mm.
6 months.
6
Oh,
months.
And what was the
6 months of
miscommunication?
officially dating.
Oh, okay. What was the miscommunication?
So essentially, when we very first got together, I was like very from the start, like, just so you know, I don't think I'm gonna want to have kids
Mhm.
because I have like history with like other people in relationships getting really upset over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to be really like upfront, but I was also like, I'm really open to changing my mind. I just don't think I do. So if that's like a big deal for you, we should probably not be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he was very much like, I've always thought I wanted kids, but I'm just not sure. And I'm open to exploring it.
Okay. So you guys were both
that's
kind of
cool.
like, we're open to exploring
yeah,
either side.
like on the fence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And then like our relationship, not to be like one of those people, it always is this way, where it's like my relationship was perfect. I have no idea where it went wrong. But like in reality, like we had a really good relationship. We were extremely happy. We had constant check-ins with each other of like, hey, how's it going? Do we have any like concerns? Like, is there any communication issues happening? And we continuously checked in about like our future together. And it was continuously going better and better. And there was no complaints on either end. And then like 5.5 weeks ago, we had a issue at dinner where like he had made a comment about kids, and I kind of freaked out a little bit, and then like brought it up with him, and I'm like, hey, when you say these things, it makes me really anxious kind of way. And his response was very like, I'm so sorry, like I'd love to talk to you more about it, like don't worry, it's not something that I don't think about. Like I do think about the fact that you don't want kids, but like I'm still open to it, and I'm just not like it's too soon in our relationship to know. We're both also in our mid-20s. That conversation, I felt just like way better about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I like really started to think about like, okay, why do I not want kids? You know?
Yeah.
And so then I started thinking about that and going through some self-discovery for like the last 5.5 weeks, where I was like, oh wait, actually maybe I do. Like I'm starting to have all these different feelings. And then one day, just out of the blue, he came over to my apartment and he started sobbing and said that he'd been thinking about it for like the last week, and he just doesn't think he can risk us dating and us breaking up in 5 years from now when our entire lives are entwined, if I don't want kids. And he just wasn't willing to take the risk, and he freaked out and broke up with me. And yeah, and so since then I've been on like a 3-week intensive therapy trip, essentially. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about everything. And I've discovered that like a lot of my dislike for having children was actually just me being really scared, because I had a really bad childhood, and I was scared that if I had kids, I would just give them also a bad childhood. And so yeah, so I have since realized that like I actually do really want children. I just have a lot of trauma that I'm still working through in that area, but I do really want kids. And
you
so
do
I
have
reached out to him.
You do have trauma, but you're working on that, and it sounds like you're going to like therapy and stuff like that, or you're doing a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a therapist that's like focuses on family planning and like childhood trauma, and I've been in therapy for 3 years.
And you reached out to him.
Yeah, so I reached out to him, and he said he was willing to have dinner, but he wasn't sure if he was willing to explore our relationship any further. But he doesn't know that I'm gonna drop a bomb at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want to go in. My big fear is that I'm going to go into this conversation and he's going to think that I made these changes for him or something, which is definitely not the case. And I don't know. I just am having like a really hard time because we went from talking all day, every day to not having really any communication for 3 weeks, except for like 2 small comments to each other.
Yeah.
So it's just like a scary thing to go into.
Yeah. I think I've got some thoughts.
Me too. I have a lot of thoughts. So to be clear.
So let me be clear.
He doesn't want kids too, or he does want kids? And you're kind of
he
like.
He does want kids.
Yeah. And now Selisa's saying that through like over the past couple of weeks, you've realized that you also want kids.
I think, I've had these troubles happen before in my relationship where like, Angie and I will talk and we're like, well, we don't even know what the future's going to look like. And we get in our heads, we don't know what it looks like, blah, 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 blah. This guy really sounds like he has your best interest at mind, and being heartbroken, it sucks. It's the worst. It's a risk, but it's also like, loving someone, it shows how much you love them and how much you cared for them. And I think focusing, like, do you enjoy spending your day with them?
With my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, your boyfriend. Yeah.
You do? No, like I've never had a relationship where I felt as like actually just secure and happy as this one.
Yeah.
Like just constantly. We had no real issues that I could identify.
I think, 5 years from now, you're going to be a different and better person. Hopefully 5 years from now, he'll be a different and better person too. And if you are willing to bet on that, and you're willing to explain to him like, yeah, we're not promised tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow is really going to look like, but I know today I want to be with you and I enjoy being with you, and we can figure that out, along as we go. I think,
Yeah. I also think on the side of like you can't really know how he's going to react. And, you know, if he does say he doesn't want to get in the relationship or he doesn't, you can only go on into this conversation with, you know, being honest about your feelings to him and saying, hey, I've had all of this time to reflect, and just make it clear that, you know, it's not really about him in this moment. Like, this is a decision that you came to by yourself that is kind of separate from him. Like, I want kids. And just being super honest and knowing that whatever he says, you have found something out about yourself. And that's a huge deal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like that comment that he made at dinner one time was, you know, guys like to think about the future. They like, you know, they see a girl from across the street and they're like, I can imagine my life with them. And I'm betting, like, while he was sitting across from you at dinner or beside of you at dinner, he was probably like, man, I can't wait to see what that possibility looks like. Or like he sees a glimpse of his future with you, and he also is scared, and he's like, you know, putting on his armor that he doesn't get hurt later in the future. But, you know, that's a bet, that's a risk.
Yeah, all relationships are a risk.
Yeah, that you want to decide, like, do I want to take it? Do I want to see it? And I think, you know, if it doesn't work out in the end,
you've still been honest. You've
you've
still told him how you felt.
Yeah, you've been honest.
Yeah.
You told him how you felt, and plus, you've enjoyed every moment you've been with that person.
Yeah.
You can, you know, take that for granted.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yeah,
That makes
of
me feel.
course.
I mean, like, I'm excited. I'm also terrified.
It's a scary conversation.
Yeah, because it
That
means a
is,
lot
like,
to you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a huge conversation. But
Yeah.
I think just like knowing, whatever happens, like it seems like the last couple of weeks have been a really big time of self-discovery for you. So that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless
Yeah,
of,
it
you
is
know,
a huge win.
however your relationship turns out, like, this is a win for you.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
there's a quote. I don't know if this is like a big quote, but there's something called, like, I love you more. And sometimes whenever I'm like having a tough day, or like I'm not really like super sure with my relationship with Angie, I'll be like, I love you more. And it doesn't mean like I love her more than she loves me. It means that I love her more than the obstacles we'll face, than the people that get in between us, than the hard days ahead of us. And you know, that I love her more than that. If that's sort of like the person you want to like love more than, and you want to say that, go for it. But I mean, that's up to you. But that's usually a quote that lets me know I'm ready for whatever comes ahead of us and the obstacles.
But you got this.
You got
Yeah.
it.
You
yeah.
got this.
Thanks.
Hopefully that helped.
Thanks.
Hopefully any of
It
that
does.
helped.
Also, one thing. My name is Salis. Not
Salis.
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 Apologies.
No,
well,
you're right. Thank you.
Salis, we wish you so much luck, and we know that you're gonna, you know, go into this conversation and have a great conversation.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll keep you guys updated. Thank
Please
you.
do.
Yes.
And there's some other great comments in the chat as well.
Okay, I'll go check them out.
Yeah.
All right. And keep us updated.
Yeah,
Let us know how it goes.
I will.
But have a
Okay.
great rest of your day and flight wherever you're
Thank
off
you.
to.
Yep. Flying home.
All right.
Have a nice
Everyone
time
put
at home.
hearts in the chat
Hearts in
for
the chat for Salis.
Salis. All right.
We'll let you
Bye.
know. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And guys, that is the end of that episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.